Alright, hello and welcome everyone here to the Starladder 10 EU qualifiers. I'm Helium, joining me is Blaze in the games today. Going to start off with xGame versus Cleave.
Yeah, looking forward to some European Dota with you, man. And this is already a pretty interesting matchup here. X Game, they've shown a lot of improvement over the past few months, but they've, for the most part, had the same roster for a number of
Yeah,
years.
which is surprising.
Yeah, so they're very comfortable with one another, and there's a lot of potential for them to kind of use that to their advantage in terms of coordination, in terms of just working together very well. Whereas Cleave have switched up a few players here and there, and although they have some interesting strategies, we haven't really seen them come fruitfully into this stage of the group stage here. They're not at the best of current score count, but they're not out of it yet. We unfortunately saw some teams from the SDA group knocked out already because of the fact that it is only one slot, but with 4 slots here in the European division of Starladder group stages, there's plenty of room for all the teams to show what they've got and to potentially qualify for the main event.
Yeah, indeed. So we can see some picks, some bans already out. xGame, they take out the Void and they first pick that Skywrath, and then giving away the Viper and the Wraith King. The Green Menace over there for Cleave. And you gotta expect the Earthshaker then coming out second. You know, that wonderful combo that comes up. I mean, obviously pretty early. You can get the Fissure blocks with some Arcane Bolts. Even the long-range concussive shot to catch up and get the Fissure. And then later on you have the Fissure into the Mystic Flare, which is extremely dangerous, although Viper looking to survive with that corrosive skin. Wraith King, well, he's looking to die, actually, and then just respawn, slow down, and try to control the fight with that reincarnation, but a lot of bans coming out. What do you make of those?
Kind of back and forth here. The Death Prophet and Shadow Shaman kind of go along with the Death Ball push a little bit. Would work really well with the Wraith King too. So the Shadow Shaman being taken out makes a lot of sense. The Death Prophet, on the other hand, it's Skywrath and Earthshaker are both very low armor heroes. They would just be evaporated by a good long duration exorcism. So they don't want to have to deal with that. And although they have some turtle tools, it's better to get that out of the way because otherwise you're dealing with a Viper and a Death Prophet, both very tanky frontliners that are just going to be able to pretty much incinerate anybody they look at. But this is going to leave open the Batrider pickup on the off lane here, presumably. We have seen it run a little bit in the mid, and Stress is one of those players that loves the odd pickup when it comes to solo mid heroes.
Yeah, I could definitely see it go to the mid lane. Recently, my experience for European Dota post TI4 comes from the Game Show League, which I cast just last weekend, and I think Batrider was picked up in every single game but one and run on the offlane every single time. So the European teams right now really prioritizing that hero, and I mean, oddly enough, we saw the Batrider struggle in a few of those games, but those are the games that worked out. When Batrider did really, really well, had like Tranquils and Blink at 7 minutes, like the Batrider arrived before his team did, and there was no follow-up, and like he just basically fed a couple times and then really fell behind, and so did his team. So it was weird stuff, man. But the Batrider comes out third for Cleave, and now, I mean, the Razor banned out. That's what you generally pick up to deal with the Viper. Do you think xGame has any other sort of ideas that they want to throw down to deal with this Viper?
I mean, it's difficult to deal with no matter what in the laning phase. This is a hero that doesn't like to die easy, and he's really good in the CS department. But if they just generally get something that's more active in terms of AoE teamfight, and generally speaking go for a better 5-man lineup, then they might be strong there. If they want to go for Tidehunter, he's pretty good against Batrider, not going to get singled out just in the duration of a disable. So I think I'd like the Tide here, but it depends on how they want to run things. The Batrider does throw a bit of a wrench in the works in terms of what they've already committed to. Earthshaker and Skywrath are great supportive heroes, but they don't respond to lasso very well. No defensive disruption.
Earthshaker's okay.
No way to break the link. It's good, but he can still Firefly right over it. So they have to get a silence on him as well as a disable, and it's a lot to commit to one hero. So maybe they're thinking about rerouting the Skywrath towards the mid lane and picking up something like a Shadow Demon to go with the Earthshaker well and counteract the Bat, or maybe they just have to kind of deal with the lasso.
The Crit Shaker.
Oh, that'd be good too.
Alright, well, they'll come with the Nyx Assassin. I mean, we see the Mana Burn picked up time, I know, occasionally. I don't want to say time and time again, but occasionally to deal with the Wraith King. He could burn out his mana. That way there's no reincarnation. You only have to kill him once. Although you're not really burning a lot of mana, just because he is a strength hero. That being said, his mana pool isn't very large, so most of the time it's enough to stop that reincarnation. And I guess they're going to pick it up to run it off lane here. It could always go middle, and like you said, they could always transition to Sky middle to pick up maybe a support. The ones that are left would, I guess, be Lion and Vengeful Spirit that go very well against the Batrider, but then you've got yourself a fairly interesting lineup here in what is only a best of one. But the Nyx Assassin, we'll see where they want to run it, whether it comes into a support, or if it just goes to the off lane, or I guess even mid, so pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, obviously a lot of flexibility for this hero, but I believe Stalkhead is going to pick it up to the offlane. Getting early points on Spike Carapace is going to be really good against both Viper and Batrider. You can intentionally stand in the Firefly, you can hit a little bit of damage on the Viper, and the Corrosive Skin will trigger it as well. So Spike Carapace is a huge utility in this game, and I think that they want to get that max pretty early along with the Impale. So adding a lot of Disable to the lineup that already packs a huge punch and damage, I think it's going to be a pretty good way to go about it. And it's also just frustrating for like a Wraith King to have to pick up a bunch of Sentry Wards instead of transitioning into a semi-carry, because they have to scout out that Nyx when he's a real threat.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Picking up any bit of invis makes Wraith King sort of slow down his farm. That being said, they could always just sacrifice the Witch Doctor. But I will also say, Witch Doctor with a bit of farm, if Witch Doctor picks up an Ags, you better watch out in pretty much any game. Even the Viper Slow along with the Ags from Witch Doctor, obviously the Wraith King Reincarnate, it can be devastating. So we'll see. I would expect Witch Doctor to be the true 5 here. I mean, also, Wraith King doesn't have to support. He could go into a core role, but very rarely have I seen the Wraith Kings start in a core role. It's sort of just pick it as a support and transition into it later.
Yeah, it's easier sell with the fact that they do have a lot of setup for him. They can pull in targets with the lasso and with the close distance with them with the Viper Strike and things of that nature. But in this position, it's still going to be blocked out by the Fisher. You're still going to be slowed by Concussive Shot, and in general, it's just not going to be what you want. Now that they're looking at the Naga, they might say, okay, at least Wraith King is very active early, and he might work as their core. But there are plenty of other heroes they could go with just to deal with the Naga Siren more directly. The Ember Spirit used to be considered a pretty hard counter in that regard, but no matter how they build it, they have a lot of different ways to approach this pick.
Alright, well, I mean, if Wraith King's not going to be a core, I'm looking at Cleave. I guess they need another carry, or they need a support, and this is going to maybe be shocking, I don't know, but I have recently seen, I think it was Vigos for Moscow 5 that was running core Jakiro and Jakiro in the mid lane. Maybe they pick up Jakiro, Witch Doctor, Jakiro, Wraith King, the heals, the Lifesteal Aura, the Liquid Fire. I mean, you could almost take out every single tower by the time Naga Siren is even thinking about purchasing up a Radiance.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Stress does like his mid Jakiro, and that's got some good potential. You could put in the safe lane if you want a Viper there for the matchup. No matter the case, I think they do want to really close this game out sooner rather than later. Earthshaker is good at turtling, but if you can punch through that, the fact that Skywrath won't really come online with some of the bigger items, Rod of Atos, get his level 11 and just tear through people, the fact that Naga Siren, her Radiance Burn, her Illusion just in general play won't be as potent. I think their emphasis has to be on early game. They have to close it out quick, and that means that they do have to go for something that's not too greedy. If they go for a farm game versus the Naga Siren, you're playing a dangerous game, especially against a carry player as experienced with Mantis. He loves to go late game. He plays Weaver, Morphling, Anti-Mage, and the Naga Siren goes right along that vein of thought, so expecting big things there.
What a terrible person playing all those heroes. Alright, well the Nagas are looking at it. What do they want to deal with it? That 5th pick, we already sort of talked about the Jakiro. I mean, anything else you can throw in there?
I don't know, they have run Core Veno a little bit, and I like
Venomancer
damage over time with Maledict. It's pretty good, but more and more we see Witch Doctors going away from this Maledict build and going just emphasis on the heal and the cask.
Heal's way better in my opinion. I always like... It took me a while at first, because I'm just used to the pubs. You know, you pick Maledict, you rotate, and you find a bunch of kills. But in this Deathball meta, and even just pushing a S2 or 3, the heal goes such a long way. Just keeping your creep wave alive, obviously keeping yourself and your allies alive. It really, really adds to the push. Like, just Witch Doctor alone adds a lot to the push.
Sure.
And actually, making me think of that, okay, they go
Holy crap.
Wow, there's a big hero that hasn't been even touched this draft, and it comes out 5th.
Wow.
It is onto the Radiant side, which is surprising that xGame themselves didn't want to go and pick it up, since they are on the Dire.
Yeah, I think that was both in the back of our minds to the point that, like, we thought that it was banned out, essentially. Like, it obviously isn't, but you just get so...
It always is,
that
so it's hard to
metagame
think
where
of
it's
it.
like, take it out, take it out, take it out. But they take out the Tinker in Phase 1, and it is completely ignored all the way here.
Hey, we were kind of right. Jakiro comes out at least.
It is going to be mid, too. What the fuck? I was picking it up. That's sweet. Wow.
Alright, well I feel like we redeemed ourselves a little bit, touching on the Jakiro. The fact that Lycan was left in the pool, and he's going to be picked up, and of course that adds to the push, and I mean it's the same thing really. It adds to the push, pressuring the towers really, really early on, but now xGame can sort of do the same thing, and if Jakiro and a couple heroes manage to get some towers, and that accelerates obviously the gold per minute of that Naga and gets her closer to that Radiance. And we'll see. I mean, it's generally Treads, or not even Treads, sorry, Boots of Speed, Quelling Blade, Aquila, and then into the Radiance. So a fairly naked Radiance, I would say, is what Mantis is going to look towards.
Yeah, but that's mostly because of the fact that Cleave are going to be looking to really just ramp things up around when Lycan hits level 6, level 7. They just want to bring down towers very quickly. The Witch Doctor heal at rank 2 is enough that the Lycan Wolves can tank a third tower shot even before they're maxed out, and that is huge for taking the early tier 1. From there, really the sky's the limit. They can try to invade Roche, they can pressure the enemy jungle, they can take every outer tier tower on the map. I mean, really, it just comes down to how well they execute their movement, their fights, and of course coordinate their ganks.
Yeah, well, we are now into the game. If you're just joining us here on twitch.tv/Dota Starladder_EN for English, the language that we are speaking. If you're watching in game, make sure to check out the stream there, and if you're watching on stream, make sure to buy the ticket. It's available in the store, and I believe it comes with that very, very awesome looking tiny set, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a full compendium for it, and you improve the prize pool with it. It's already ramped up a ton. We're approaching doubling what Starlight contributed, which I think was 100 grand. So I mean, there's a huge ramp. I can actually just check it out instead of spitballing.
Well, that's what happens when you make your compendium so incredibly well. It looks really, really good. I'm surprised I actually forgot about it. But maybe while you check that out, I'll run through xGame's lineup here. So leading the way, it's going to be Wadafaka on the Jakiro, taking it mid, as we did talk about. We talked about it for Cleave, but it turns out xGame is going to be doing it. Mantis on the Naga Siren. The Nyx Assassin is going to be handled here by Stallcat with a lot of regen clarity. Looks to be heading top into what could be the solo safe lane, but yeah, it was maybe picked up to be off lane. Will be solo safe. Kot here on the Earthshaker standing in. I thought that was equal when I was casting the other day because nothing was enforcing names, but it looks like Kot is just a stand-in. And Reeves on the Skywrath Mage, the last support here for xGame.
Mm-hmm. Looking over at the side of Cleave. I'm going to have trouble with these ones here, but
good luck.
Yeah, I got the solo mid, Batrider, played by Stress, going with the no tally start build. A lot of stats for him, to be honest. But we are going to be seeing that supportive Wraith King? Question mark? He's going to be roaming early. He's got the boots and the clarity. You'd presume he's going to be the support in this mindset. But yeah, Soneko of the Lokuta is going to be running on that Wraith King. Witch Doctor is going to be played. I know that they pronounce this differently, but I'm just going to take it at face value unless you know differently.
I got nothing.
Oh well, that's how you go when we have English speakers reading Russian names. But yeah, beyond that, of course, we do have up on the top lane the Viper, played by, I believe it's pronounced Hokan. I used to call it Shaco, but it's apparently wrong as well. And then the easy one, down bottom, Lycan is played by Roger. So that solo safe is going to be pretty nice for him. As far as the prize pool goes, it started out at 80,000 base prize pool, and since then has risen to 198 grand. So 118,000 already contributed by you guys, the community, supporting it, buying the compendium, and building up to a huge event, most likely in Kiev. So thank you guys for that, and anybody who hasn't already checked it out, please do so. It is awesome to be able to kind of support an organization that has been involved in this scene for so long. I mean, this is the longest running tournament at this point. There were some that came earlier, but this one has had 10 iterations to this point.
Yeah, and I believe it's been global, international, whatever you want to call it, for what, the last 2-3 seasons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really big. There was a cry in the community for them to expand and include everybody, and they did it basically immediately. As soon as the request was there, they granted it. So, big shout out to them, and of course for having us on here today. It's a lot of fun, and hopefully we can get this game started pretty soon. The Batrider lagging up a little bit, and the Null Talisman build's pretty interesting. Like you said, Stress likes to play the Batrider, likes to play Stranger Heroes in the mid lane, and with the base damage reduction, with Napalm only having half damage on creeps, he picks up an early Null Talisman, which, I mean, back in the day would be unheard of on Batrider, because you don't need anything to last hit, but now that you can get maybe even a little denied, well, probably not against Naga, because Naga has 47 base attack damage, and she didn't even go for a quelling here, but yeah, wanting to really dominate the mid lane with both last hits and denies here. Stress on this Batrider.
Yep. So the bottom lane is going to be pretty interesting here. What kind of pressure they can put out onto the Lycan to try to prevent him from getting the early levels. He'll just start out last hitting with Howl, and he has plenty of regen to back himself up. So I don't think that there's going to be that much kill potential with what the fuck is Jakiro and Kot's Earthshaker, but you never really know. If there's rotations, if there's opportunities where they catch him out of bounds, away from the tower, might be able to fish from away. But more often, I think this is going to be a 1v1 matchup where Kot has to put more emphasis on the mid. We were looking at that before. Wraith King will pick up this haste rune. Going to go right on to perhaps Reeves, or no, Mantis is really far out. But for now, they don't have the opening. They're going to fall back.
Yeah, it's a party in the mid lane anyways. 3 heroes over there for xGame, 3 on the side of Cleave as well. They did have the haste rune. Yeah, they did hand it over to the Wraith King here, and I think they're going to rotate bottom like to back up their Lycan. I mean, you can let Lycan suffer, honestly. It's not too big of a deal. Like you pointed out, he has a ton of regen, actually bottom rune spawn, a little bit of trouble with the Skywrath. He's very, very squishy. The Wraithfire Blast comes out. The defensive Fissure kind of zoning out the Witch Doctor a little bit. He will get the cask, but only level 1 cask going to bounce 3 times. No, actually only 2. I thought it was 3 for some reason. 2, 4, 6, 8. Powers of 2. Except for 6. Math.
Nice. But yeah, the Earthshaker Fissure is a really good way of diffusing certain situations like that, kind of getting the path block on people are backing him up. You actually can overextend into it, where you just get one person singled out ahead of the pack, and that's problematic. We do see 4 stacks of sticking Napalm on Mantis, but he backs off as soon as that connects, and Stress isn't able to put much damage in with this Firefly. Naga Siren already with the bottle, sustaining pretty well, and going to be looking for the 2-minute root spawn, while pretty much it's a brawl on the bottom lane. Stalkhead gets his 1v1 up against the Viper. Not the best matchup for him, especially we see 2 points in Nether Toxin now for Viper, but...
Which is strange.
Yeah, so just guaranteeing pretty much every CS that he can possibly get, and that's going to be really nice as well, because you have to kill that Nyx Assassin quick. He has great passive regen, the Tangos and Salves are banked up, so if there's any potential to harass him down, you do it very, very fast. We do see the cast coming through onto 2, bounces back and forth a little. The Fissure will connect, but not blocking off the Witch Doctor. In fact, practically blocking themselves off. There will be no kills today.
Yeah. And then up top, talking about that 2 points in Nether Toxin, I believe it was AUI 2000 that said it, that he only puts 2 points in Nether Toxin because he sucks at last hitting, so maybe that's the reason that this Viper goes for it, but I think it's mainly what you said. He wants to make sure that this Nyx Assassin gets nothing. I mean, obviously he's going to get XP, but hopefully he'll get a little bit of less XP because the Viper will be denying just about everything. And we can see Viper 12-7, the Nyx Assassin 5-0, so he's got a little bit, and going to have an early level 6. He can have a pretty big impact, I think. However, well, I guess only Lycan will really be split pushing, but he doesn't have to. Like, if he feels in danger because of the Nyx Assassin being level 6, level 7, or whatnot, then they can just death ball with the team. And I think it'll be fine. And of course, if he's not scared of the Nyx, then he can get that early split push that only Lycan can. Mid lane, though. What a flame break down back into the river. 4 stacks of Napalm still chasing here, bottling up. Here is Stress continuing to chase. 5 stacks now. Looking for 6. Will get 6. Very, very slow. One more auto attack should do it here with 6. No, not quite. Oh, the wand up and moving uphill now. The mirror image to block. And yeah, he moves them around to block. And now he's going to run straight into Reeves and everybody. Another Flame Blade will go out here with the 1-1-2 skill build up on Stress. Arcane Bolt. I don't think it's going to be enough. Yeah, not even close, actually. Just about 70 damage coming from that. And, well, everyone will survive in the middle lane for now. Maybe not. Soneko in some trouble. Going to take a Dual Breath and an Arcane Bolt. Still running out into the trees. Back to the Centaurs. Still working on the creep he pulled through. Oh, and the Fissure Arcane Bolt will do it. The cask came across the tree line, but it wasn't quite enough. And the first blood will go to Reeves of xGame.
Wow, that was very interesting back and forth. I love that flame break play, knock him into the river, but Magic Stick already up for the Naga Siren. In addition to Bottle, he just sustains too much, he heals too much, and he's even going to refill with this haste rune, so he's not going down anytime soon. And in the meantime, Batrider is forced back.
Soneko. He dies, but he respawns and he makes the best of it there. Goes top, gets a kill there on the Nyx Assassin.
Good play there, making the rotations you need to do. And Jocko, I was already talking about his potential to execute his target. He's actually going to go for a 3rd point in Nether Toxin. Really wants to emphasize physical damage output against targets that have already been initiated on just a little bit there. So we'll look for the Wraith King, maybe the Witch Doctor to soften up the target a bit. Jocko will, or Hokan will be hammering home those right clicks.
Yeah, and I guess that goes along with what you were saying earlier in the draft, how you look at this Earthshaker, you look at Skywrath, and their armor is so low, and since that Nether Toxin is added physical damage, it could go a long way later, although this build definitely less common now, just because, you know, the Void, the Skywrath, all that magic damage, you generally like to prioritize the Corrosive Skin these days, but it's not going to be the case. It's a farm game right now for Hokan, if that's how I'm pronouncing it here. He's up to level 7 now on the Viper. He's got Treads, that was his boot of choice, and he's got to be the mech carrier for this squad, so he's going to look to farm up to that, sitting on Bass Treads and about 400 gold right now.
Some strong movement right now early on from the Viper for the CS, as you'd expect. 28 and 15 for him, but he is taking some damage now back and forth. He is going to take some tower shots, but still get the kill. The Nyx Assassin Spike here was just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to work once, right? Like, maybe if Spike Carapace, you know, worked for every instant of damage you took, like, while it was up, you could maybe survive that, but just one attack from the Viper, it's not going to do enough. It's just a little bit of extra damage turned back to the Viper as well. Some tower hits. He'll escape. He'll be okay. He will actually pit stop for a magic wand on his item progression. That's what he's going for. And Wadafaka now... Where did he go? He went back to the top lane. He's going to start to take over some of the farming in that lane. Maybe they'll rotate the next round. Nyx is level 5. Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. He's heading bottom for the meantime against this tri-lane. Also, maybe looking to kill the Batrider. Batrider is an intelligence hero, which is going to be pretty nice. So Batrider and Witch Doctor are maybe better targets for the Nyx Assassin, just for later on when Mana Burn is maxed out, but...
Yep. For right now, he's just going to be kind of moving about the map, focusing on disables, but the Null Talisman does kind of add even more damage for Stalkit to burn through. So Nico's still going to get the flank here, but can Spike Carapace. He's trying to fake cast, fake pump, the Wraith Fire Blast. He's just standing right next to him. He's like, oh, come on, I'm going to get you. But yeah, not going to fall for it. He'll just walk back. And again, he has massive HP regen. 3.2 without any buffs on him. It's just casually getting back to full HP, and they just can't pin him down.
Yeah, and that's what really made this hero a good offlaner for a little while. I guess, do we credit xMike for that? I don't really know, but the 3.2 regen per second, the highest base in the game. You start off with a poor man shield sometimes when you plan to do this, and you're almost unkillable. Especially with that Spike Carapace. You're pretty durable.
Viper on top lane is very extended. He really wants to go for this kill. Gonna go on Wadafaka. There is a Fissure here as well as a Knife Pass, but just gonna block it away, try to diffuse the situation. Even though they are 3 versus 1, this Viper just feels a little bit too big to tackle right now. Got Treads, Magic Wand, Bassy, and 3 points in the Corrosive. He is not an easy nut to crack. Either way, on the pressure on the mid lane is going to come through from Mantis' Illusion. Going for a build where he picks up his ultimate at 6, kind of implying that, you know, his team isn't stacking jungle for him, so he doesn't need the extra points of Mirror Image to really take advantage of that at all.
Yeah, he's doing fine here in the middle lane. 34 and 6. He's even in CS right now with that Viper in the top lane, who 1 versus 3 feels almost unkillable. But with that Fissure block coming off there, Hakan in a lot of trouble now. The slow, Ice Path, everything. We could use a dual breath in on this. Now Wraith King is going to show up. That's going to hand over the lifesteal. And I think they're going to turn this around. Hakon's still alive. We'll bring down 2 right now. Double kill. It's going to be an easy triple kill for the Viper. It's 5-1 now at 8 minutes. And what a rotation. You actually see that Vampiric Aura came in pretty handy there.
Absolutely. Perfect combo. The Vampiric Aura plus the usage of the Nether Toxin was just enabling him to finish off all his targets very quickly. They just can't stand against him without any armor, and that build pays off exponentially. That was absolutely incredible. It's kind of like a mini Huskar right there, where he just keeps on healing just that little bit of extra amount that you need to stay alive, and Wraith King there with the turnaround. So very, very nicely done. Does skill up his ultimate very quickly, but as long as he doesn't go down immediately, that's not going to be that big of a deal.
I don't know, this Fissure is putting him in an odd position there. And yeah, it's something to note. A lot of the Wraith Kings with that reincarnation, when they get level 6, they will just hold the points because it's a 5-minute cooldown. It's a big one, but now Haokong in the bottom lane, Reeves just goodbye. 3 was that 3? Maybe 4 hits? He did expend the Viper Strike, and actually there's still someone trapped down here. I'm disconnected. Are you disconnected?
It happens every single day. LD, 0, it doesn't matter. We disconnect once, the game progresses 30 seconds, and then everybody connects back in and pauses. I have no idea what's
that
up
other person
this
is
time.
dead.
But yeah, that guy, Nyx Assassin hiding in the trees, there's nothing he could have done anyways. Even a TP wouldn't have been fast enough. They had Firefly Vision on him. It was a guaranteed kill. So for those that want to proclaim that Volvo ruined your game and took your rares away, I can't say that it's a fair assessment in this case. But yeah, nevertheless, it is a frustrating thing as far as servers go, and it has happened like 3 or 4 days in a row now.
Alright, well, speaking of Naga's Siren, if we even were, I'm looking at her right now, that loading screen. That was a good idea, I must say. Still trying to load in here. Hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, there was one day where it took us like 4 loads and the game progressed 5 minutes, so we had to go for like a full reload, but that's just because nobody's in the game to actually hit the pause button. It looks like I'm not going to reload for the first time. We'll see how it progresses and just keep our eye on the Starladder chat.
Oh yeah, they're probably all the other casters dealing with this. Let's see what they got to say. Well, it looks like some people have reconnected, so we'll just keep trying here. And we won't click leave game, even though it is so close to reconnect. We will not make that mistake.
Yeah. least they had it. What is it? Confirmation box. I don't think they had that at some point, and they can make it very easy to duck out.
That would have been an obvious feature. Like, this is a big deal. Nah, we don't need confirmation. It's fine.
So, state of the game. Right now, there is a lot of kill momentum behind the Radiant side. That Viper's getting pretty huge. Really, what is it going to take to stifle that? I mean, obviously, like you said, the Naga Siren's farming pretty well, but that isn't Radiant's money. That's like first build-up items money. That's getting to a point where you can start your Radiance type build-up. But if we see some good push coming in behind the kills, then we could obviously see some things go down. So what do they have as far as tower kill potential other than raw right-click?
But what team are we talking here? Radiant or
On
Dire?
the Radiant side.
Well, I mean, they've got Lycan, and they've got a Viper who is pretty much untouchable right now, and he probably is very, very close to his mechanism. So I say Viper gets his mech, and you just group up as 5, take out all the tier 1s, ward aggressively, and you look to that Naga, and you say, you will not be farming unless we let you farm, pretty much.
Sure enough. So, I mean, obviously the Lycan brings a lot to the table. He didn't get much in the early game, but I think he still got some levels. I'd say he's around level 6 or 7, and that's plenty for what he's looking for. The Wraith King aura also helps a little bit. It's kind of like a free Vlad's. You don't get the armor, obviously, but you do get the wolves to continue to right-click down creep waves and get back to full for the next wave. And they also have some pretty beastly HP regen. Well, we've been talking about that a lot for the Nyx, but the wolves are probably like the most annoying thing when it comes down to just casually harassing you without you really being able to do anything in turn.
Yeah, and they have a Vlad's for free, right? I mean, minus the damage aura, but that's only on base damage, so it's pretty minimal in the early game. With that the lifesteal coming out from the Wraith King, that's your Vlad's to push. So it doesn't really matter if the Lycan's too far behind, because if they group up as 4, group up as 5, take down the tier 1s, Lycan catches up, and I mean, it's going to be the Dire that have to make all the plays this game. I think, if they want to stay in it. They're going to have to make the plays and find the space for the Naga. And once Naga gets a Radiance and can maybe use that mirror image split push, then the game potentially gets hard for Cleave. Yes, Cleave is on the Radiant. It's been so long since we were in the... 10 years since in-game. I don't even remember.
I wander through
Surprised
the
I
streets.
remember the heroes.
I wander through the streets looking for my Lycan bush.
Pretty much.
Oh, sweet, I'm in. Okay, so it's 9 minutes into the game. Somehow that Nyx
mine
Assassin
worked
is
too.
still alive.
Oh, the players are DC'd as well, so
Okay,
yeah, that's
no,
why there was a pause
it's
in the
always
game.
like that. But it looks like it was... I mean, like, if we talk about, like, using the Nyx Assassin HP regen as a metric, I honestly don't think the game was unpaused for that long. I think, like, maybe a 30-second timer. The creeps are kind of doing their thing and maybe dying a little bit, but... Yeah, Corrosive Skin has been taking down the range creeps, but it hasn't been all that long. I don't think that much has changed, and other than a minor psychological shift as far as, okay, well, we're trying to just get everything back together, figure out what's going on. Beyond that, I don't think it was that bad of a pause, and yeah, I think there's still the Faded Nyx Assassin will remain the same. He is trying to go for a Carapace TP, but it takes 2 right clicks, and he's gone. A single Flame Break to cancel the TP. They have Vision. And there is no reinforcements just yet. The Earthshaker up top, no scroll. Jakiro up top, no scroll. Naga Siren, wouldn't expect it. And I'm back out actually. Holy crap!
I figured out Nyx. They gotta go for the unpause while those two are DC'd, so he can start his TP out, and then hopefully he can get out before they're back in. Obviously, that would be frowned upon by the establishment, but that's what Nyx has to do right here.
Just a bit. A little bit back, but
now we've got Coddle on my loading screen. What loading screen did you hit, Blaze?
it's this, I don't even know the name of it, but it's like the polarizing Radiant versus Dire, lightning down the middle, really cool one. Used to be an artwork.
Oh, the split, the one thing the guy got commissioned at TI3
exactly.
or whatever.
Yeah, that was it was TI3. That was, I liked it then. I like it now. It's pretty freaking awesome.
Nice.
So it looks like it's time for some jokes.
Is it? Or tips. Dagon, Necronomicon, and Diffusal Blade can be upgraded by purchasing their recipes again. Did you know that?
Nah, I've never played this Dota game. I don't.
Nice. Pretty good caster. Pretty above average caster, Blaze, for never playing Dota.
Yeah, I did call that. I thought that you might be able to purchase the Diffusal Blade recipe a second time to reset the charges, and that's not true at all.
It should be though, don't you think? I mean, it's an item that's fallen completely off. Like, how is that not a thing? It should definitely be allowed.
Yeah, but
they should even add a third one, to be honest. Like a third level, I mean. Now that would make Illusion Heroes way too strong. Actually, that would be terrible.
Illusion Heroes don't get it for the purge. What are you talking about?
No, I mean the mana burn, because the mana burn, like.
Oh, you think it should keep ramping up?
Yeah, I said if they added a level 3 of Diffusal, the mana burn damage would go up, and then Illusion Heroes would just be like godlike.
That would be awful. Just remove the mana burn component and make it cheaper. That's good for me. I love purge as a mechanic in the game, but Illusion Heroes can.
I don't know, man. If Diffusal Blade comes back, then I don't think we'll ever see Omni Knight ever again. So we better not mess with it. Because I want to see that Omni Knight. Yeah, I'm back in as well. Looks like we're just waiting on Stress right now.
Yep.
And now that the Viper's back, Stall can't even pull any shenanigans to get out of this one. Alright, let's pull up the farm here. So, Naga Siren, like you said, she's at 1,000 gold right now. She's like almost, maybe like a quarter. Probably more than that. Let's go with 2/5 or something. Towards her, just the relic. It's that 3,800 gold, which is obviously the next item she's going to go for. She's bottle crowing right now, so that's on Shagbark there, which is not. Wait. Okay, looks like it was walking. I was like, not upgraded at 9 minutes. No. Questionable, but it is upgraded apparently.
Yeah.
Bottle crowing there for the Naga. She's got 44 last hits, 6 denies, and we didn't really know, but Lycan had rotated to the middle lane, or at least we didn't remember when we got DC'd, and he's 40 and 6. He's actually doing really well, and he's not too far off. He's about 600-700 gold away from the full Vlads, and you add the Vlads plus that aura, and oh, I completely forgot about the Nyx. He dies. Oh, we expected it. 72, double kill for Hao Kong. We waited so long for that, and then I forgot. Sorry.
Oh, anyways, yeah, he's kind of rebounded very nicely. Roger is back up on top of things. Once he gets the Vlads plus the Vampiric Aura from the, I want to say SK Wraith King, he's going to be able to just stay really on top of farming pretty much constantly, killing creeps, killing towers, and just making it a shorter game in general, which is good against the Naga Siren. They're going to start that Vein of Thought down bottom lane. Again, there weren't many TP scrolls on the side of X Game here at the 10-minute mark, so they are just going to have to kind of walk their way down or find their way over to the side shop to pick some up. Either way, the tier 1's going down. There is no changing that now.
Yeah, and that'll help Stress get closer to his Blink Dagger. So he's got boots, started with that Null Tal, of course, went for the bottle, and he's at 1,800 gold, so that tier 1 helps. Another tier 1, or maybe just a jungle stack or two as he rotates back over. He finishes the Blink, and he can start to look to pick off the Naga Siren. Or the Invis here that Wraith King is going to go ahead and pick up. He's chasing down Mantis. Mantis, though, with the 370 move speed, very, very fast there for no legs on the Naga Siren. Able to slither on away. But being almost completely surrounded, here is Stress now. If he can find this lasso, there is a Song of the Siren up. Oh, he gets a Flying Vision, he will catch her. But just like we saw earlier in the game, when Stress had no boots, 340 to 370, he can't catch up. And meanwhile, Jakiro, the Tower Destroyer, pretty much.
But he gets denied, and now they turned around Jakiro. Yeah. That's a huge loss for them. That's worse than if he was ever there in the first place. He wishes he'd never been born. That deny, taking gold that the Naga Siren desperately needs, and shoving it down the drain.
Yeah, and Jakiro's thinking that twice because he does have 2 heads.
Oh, wow.
Forget. So it's like twice
arguing about it, really. One of them has a pretty positive outlook on life. We have to have like that optimist and the pessimist.
Only Ogre can really relate, so.
This volcano is half full, I don't know.
Those are our jokes that we didn't do like 2 minutes ago. But more pushing into the top lane, let's not forget that Nether Toxin maxed out does work on towers, so not only did it devastate people in the lane early on, dominate the last hits, now it's even being added into the Death Ball for that tower pushing power. But, I mean, X Game aren't without their own push in the bottom lane. Mantis rotates out of mid, comes bot, and they will get a tower. Not going to be denied. Unfortunately, not last hit either, but now 3 heroes up in the top. Viper, Wraith King, and a Lycan all pushing down. Oh, they find a pick off there, the Bat Rider.
Yep, just walking around.
30%
XP, Stallcat just wants a little bit of vengeance from the extended, agonizing
he did buy the
cause
blink,
of
though.
Death. But he did get the blink, yeah. No, they didn't really lose much out of that at all. I don't think he farmed any unreliable gold between his purchase and his demise. So we're going to see a huge wave push down on bottom, but Skywrath doesn't really contribute to the push here. It's all on the Naga Siren's shoulders, and they're going to rally to reinforce it.
Oh, and it's going to be the Witch Doctor that gets found out here by Stallcat. In a bit of trouble taking a mana burn, but he's got that heal up, and he's got 3 in cask, 2 in heal, so they will not be able to bring him down. 8-3, but xGame kind of surprising me, even without the Jakiro mounting a pretty sizable push there in the bottom lane. They take the tier 1, and they get the tier 2 to half HP. On the flip side of things, Cleave, that tier 2 tower up in the Dire safe lane, not even touched, takes 95 damage, and that was probably just from creeps. Mid lane, though, Lasso goes out onto an illusion, and stressing over that one. We'll stop the puns. I apologize.
You're not sorry. You know it. It was awesome.
I know, I'm not.
But yeah, they still get some push in. Did Nakasiren last hit that tower?
No, she didn't.
Did not. Just the Dire in general. Got it. But that's still gold across the board, and they certainly need it. The Earthshaker wants his Blink Dagger sometime, and the mechanism is going to come out on the Jakiro. Speaking of, the Viper already has his, and he's part of this death ball here. Necropyre are going to come down just to obliterate the creep wave, and actually this hero's standing in it for an extremely long time. Fisher helps out in that regard, but even still, like, you just walk.
It almost hurts Wadafaka more though because of the corrosive skin max.
Yeah, you think? Jeez, yeah, he is actually taking a huge amount of damage, and that's just damage over time does not help there. Stallcat's got spec carapace, he should be fine, but a nice Fisher comes out and Wraith King is pinned down.
Alright, they got the heal. They're okay. They got that level 2 heal from the Witch Doctor, and now they can start smacking some things. They don't lifesteal off buildings, of course, but when another creep wave comes, they can heal themselves back up. Or actually, I'd like to see an urn picked up on somebody when you're pushing this aggressively. Maybe also the Witch Doctor. But, I mean, while they do that, the Naga, the rat, is like already real with her. She's pushing in the top lane, and then bottom lane, we've got Jakiro. He rotated off the mid, so they decided to give up the tower, but they at least, you know, make trades elsewhere. Not quite structural trades yet, but a lot of damage onto these towers that will fall pretty soon. And actually, Wadafaka probably will get this bottom tower. Maybe it gets denied, but one more liquid fire and it's pretty much dead.
Oh, but here comes the Viper. This is the man of the hour coming in. Short duration ice path, and that's not going to be enough to take him away. Even these right clicks, another toxin at work. He's going down despite the TP. So the tower will be finished off by Jakiro. He does claim this one this time around, but feeding away a 9-0 Viper. Pokan is godlike right now.
Already godlike at 14 minutes into the game. Yeah, I don't know. Witch Doctor was maybe tunnel vigiling a little bit there. Oh, Radiance Courier. Prizes are given out here. Radiance Courier, where was it?
It was in the river, right where Batrider is right now. Trying to pursue and get some vengeance, but not so lucky. That gets Nyx Assassin his Blink Dagger.
Yeah, and it was, I think, just the Town Portal scroll coming out for stress. That's all he really wanted, that TP, so he can defend the towers, because the split push is already quite real, and as I was saying, I think Witch Doctor could have denied this tower here in the bottom lane, but didn't really think about it. Was maybe trying to cancel the TP. But a nice pick off of the Courier. Doesn't lose much cargo, but hey, at least the Courier's dead. It's a source of income. Again, to that Naga, another 175 gold. There it is. She's bought the Relic, and now still has 400 gold left over. She was riding on about 4.1k in the bank. As we flip over to net worth, we find her in second, the Naga at 6.9, and the Viper here at 7.1. Okay, they're basically tied now.
Necro going to be built up by the Lycanthrope, so they really do want to emphasize this early game aggression, and just with the Aghanims alone, essentially the Viper is fully online. Like, you can progress from there in terms of semi-carry to even late game carry potential if you build the right items or have the right gold, but right now 9-0, practically an Aghanim Scepter. That's all he really wants. They're going to go for the smoke here. Fortunately, there is no Dire Observer Ward anywhere nearby, so they have no idea what's forthcoming. But the question is, can the Nagasara predict it enough to stay back, or if she does get caught out, can she get the song? But right now, just playing it very passive, only illusions moving about, and it looks like Cleave are going to come up empty-handed.
Yeah, we can see the Wolves here from Lycan doing a lot with their invis here, just scouting out everything. No one was there. They tried to smoke up for it, but xGame either needed to go heal or just had the sense that maybe something is coming their way, so they will back up, and now the push is going to start. Actually, we'll whistle this ward out, which I do like at this point in the game. Any rotations through here, Lycan's going to spend a lot of time in your jungle around here and here, kind of just farming back and forth while pushing out the top lane. And that ward kind of lets you keep tabs on where the Lycan is. But middle lane, we're going to have a confrontation. Mantis can be lassoed up. The death ward dropped and will bring down the proper Naga.
Yeah, Wadafaka, though, on the bottom lane has a TP scroll, has a mech. Will he be able to get out of this one? Need to save the stun. Wraith King, do not pop it until he goes for the TP, because he can get out of this one. But the slows come through. The Nyx is ready for the Blink and Pale, and they might just try to turn this around. Right now, full retreat, TP away, and looks like they're just going to try to hold off that tower. But Reeves caught out by himself. Even with the TP, it might be too late. The last right click, it's not enough. And he will make it home free. So 2 escape, but in the mid, the tier 2 tower already below half.
And that's what you get for putting a point in stats over your Mortal Strike. Could have had an RNG crit there that took the Skywrath to the grave, but not going to be the case. Meanwhile, Hao Kong in the middle lane onto the tower with that Nether Toxin. Going to pop out the fortification from xGame. 374 is what the tower is left with for now, but Stallcat behind the lines with the Impale, the Fissure, the Ice Path, everything syncing up there, but the Mac and the heals come out. I think they're going to turn it around. Stallcat, yeah, no chance here. The Cask still bouncing, will land on Jakiro one more time, and yeah, in the Macro Pyre, I think Viper can just stand it in and he will die, but Naga's going to show up and will be forcing that Viper away. Now another nice Fissure block here from Kot, but the sleep going to come out from the Naga right as the Wraith King arrives, and I think it's still going to be, yeah, Earthshaker dies before I even can get the camera back there to see. So offlaner and support down for xGame, and the push now coming full throttle mid lane. Also bottom Roger pushing into that tier 2, so Cleave being very annoying.
That was a pretty huge waste of song in my opinion. Like a Song Siren right now should be like laying down the groundwork for an Echo Slam, maybe get a macro pie underneath their feet and just cause some real problems. But no, it's just to temporarily disengage, still lose your heroes, and now lose the Skywrath down on bottom. This gives not only more gold to the Wraith King, but cancels a TP and gets easy damage on this tier 2. It should be both falling within the next minute.
Yeah, so even with all this pressure, I mean, xGame put up a pretty good fight and a bit of pressure of their own onto the towers of Cleave. It allows Naga to pick up the Radiance here at 18.5 minutes, which is a pretty dang good time, if I do say so myself. But at this point in the game, I mean, it's about to be 20 minutes and you are about to lose all your towers. Only the tier 2 tower in the top lane stands, and teams that are up every single outer tower, or what is it, 4 towers or more, or every outer tower claimed, or something like that at 20 minutes, it's like a 70 or 80% win rate. So Cleave, their chances look pretty good, but xGame have a lineup that could maybe still win it here with this Naga if she starts getting really, really big. She's still pretty much a squishy little girl right now with just the Radiance, so she needs to bulk up a little bit, maybe a Heart Manta, obviously looking for Boots of Travel as well. Yeah,
but we have seen so many different games come out time and time again where as long as the racks aren't down, the Radiance turns the game back around in their favor. It's going to be a hard one here as the Roche falls and this Lycan push is just going to be relentless, but we'll really see. The Necronomicon is oh wow, it's all the way up to 3. Necro 3 plus Aghanims coming out right now, and with the Aegis, yeah, they can force this. That is, I mean, the Radiance is great, don't get me wrong. It's a huge counter push tool, and microed properly can just kill off every creep in existence. But here and now, if they get a single wave in the base, they're not leaving until the tier 3 is dead.
Yeah, and even the Wraith King, that support, transition to the core as per usual. So Neko almost has a Maelstrom. He's just a couple hundred from it. So Blink treads Maelstrom. He could also go for the Blade Mail. It really depends what he wants to do. Actually, he's in a bit of trouble right now. He's got the mana, but after this mana burn, which is now, if I can find the next assassin, still only 1 point. They might not be able to burn enough, but he's really far away, so they should be able to kill him twice, basically no problem.
Yeah, they don't actually want to...
Well, he can actually blink to the tree line. He can maybe blink to here. Oh, he won't get it in time. Perfect Impale coming out from Stallcat, and so Neko will get off a stun, continue to run. Oh, his team actually getting pretty close. He will fall, and the song is going to... Oh, the death... It looked like Death Ward was just about to be cast when the sleep went off, and it didn't quite cancel it. Oh, Flame Break almost gets the Naga. Would have been spot on, I think it would have been there. Well,
it's a really hard one to land, though. You're just within the range of the Song of the Siren if you're a step too close, and it's hard to manage. But now that the song's gone, you can feel a lot more confident about pushing right in mid. So you have to time it against your mirror images. Right now, bottom lane's creep equilibrium is pretty poor, but at least the tier 2 is easy for the taking, and Roger, right now,
could be in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but he's got the shapeshift, so they don't really have the lockdown without the ensnare.
Yeah, the shapeshift though only lasts 18 seconds. Yeah, 18-second duration, so they're going to use it to get this tower pretty quickly, and then I think they're just going to hightail it out of here. Maybe not, though. It's not the longest cooldown either on the shapeshift. Do they have an urn yet? We're paused, so we'll throw out the whole item list. No urn, but the Necro 3, the Ags, the mech that we all talked about, the Vlads, of course, and it is a Blade Mail coming out for Soneko on the Wraith King. Gem up here on Stress. Did he purchase it himself? No, he actually got it from his support Witch Doctor, who has Arcane and a Bracer. So they're fighting up against a Mech, a Radiance, and a Blink Dagger. That's what xGame has to their name right now. Almost an Ags on Jakiro. Mech Ags, that seems strange. I like it because Aggro Pyre is pretty much one of the funnier spells to look at.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't have to worry about mana issues. He's got 3 Arcane Boots on his team, even though they are barely leaving the well right now. so he's definitely going to be able to just spam his spells out, and he wants to be a little tanky. But yeah, maybe a Veil of Discord might have been better considering the
Would agree.
enhancement
Radiance.
of all his allies' damage and the Radiance. Like all 4 of them, in addition to Jakira, all 5 of them, I guess I could just simplify it as, do huge amounts of magic damage, and a single Veil for whoever could pick it up would be immense. Oh,
Nice block there with the Fissure. No Force Staffs on the side of Cleave to get him back over that, so this could be, you know, using that Aegis maybe a little while before you want to, but I lied. Apparently there is a Force Staff. Batrider has one, so I am a liar. And Fortification was burned earlier, coming off in 12 seconds, but here's a nice Echo from Cop, but it does nothing. Another Fissure to cancel out the Death Ward, which is nice, but I don't know if it's going to matter. They've lost the Earthshaker pretty much immediately. Witch Doctor will fall afterwards. Earthshaker to buy back right now, but he's coming into this fight with basically nothing. The lasso forward onto Wadafaka. He will fall. Aegis is going to go ahead and be claimed right now. Mantis running into this. Does have Boots of Travel up and does have Song of the Siren. No mana right now, but he does have 10 charges, yeah. Will he sleep right now? He's got the mana back up for it. They're trying to kill Halcon, but a nice flame break, creating some space there. The net goes out, and now the sleep. Everyone dying from the Corrosive Stain. It's a triple kill beyond godlike. 13-0-3 right now for this Viper. 17-6, and the tier 3 tower's down. They're focusing on the ranged barracks, but still might actually be able to get both. We'll see what they decide to do. Buy back on the Jakiro, and they will just run away.
Yeah, if they can disengage from this is pretty huge, and only getting the racks to tier 3, but also delaying the Jakiro's Aghanim Scepter. And this was all without the Wraith King. He was down bottom, counter-pushing, making sure Naga can rat it out. So in that, they were able to just 4-man the high ground and break through. Very nicely done. Huge momentum for Cleave, and if they weren't already looking amazing in this game, they are certainly dominating now. The Viper seems unkillable. Sure, he dropped down with the Aegis, but that was only because he knew how aggressive he could play, and he just picked up a Reaver. Aghanim Scepter, Mechanism, Reaver, Viper at 23.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty terrifying. Just probably looking to go for the heart there. And he's literally going to be unkillable. And like you said, already is just pretty much wanting to use the Aegis and picking up the triple kill there to go beyond godlike 4 times now, I think, with 13-0. So he's in front of the net worth, 12.6k, but you can see how well this Naga is doing, getting that 18-minute Radiance. Now has Boots of Travel and a Yasha. 200 CS in just 23 minutes. Mantis is farming like a boss and is actually #1 in net worth right now, but I don't think it's going to matter because Cleave is coming up the mid lane, pushing up a Storm. This time they have the Wraith King with them. And checking out the buybacks here on Cleave. Yeah, they got a buyback on the Batrider, and he's got Travel, so even if he jumps in and goes down, he can come right back into this fight. They will head top. I hear the lasso. Batrider is going to be pulling back Stallcat right now. Maybe not the best target, and everyone going to get Carapissed up a little bit, but they will bring it down. He almost explodes, and now the melee barracks fall even faster. So that's down. And they'll find Cot on the backside of this as well. The cask still bouncing, and a beautiful Death Ward coming out there. It's going to be the Witch Doctor here with a double kill, chasing him into the fountain, and just 24 minutes into the game. xGame 3 down, and now the push. They will transition it towards the middle lane. Necrothery is about to run out, but it shouldn't really matter.
Yeah, just Viper can stay on the front line this entire time. Doesn't have to worry about mana because he's got the great items. And even Mantis, after popping the song, is still dropping down to 400 HP. He did claim the tier 2 top tower with his illusions earlier, but it doesn't change the fact that they're about to lose their entire base. Reeves is gone for sure. They don't really have any buybacks remaining, and they will just call the GG.
Yeah, I mean, xGame, Mantis, I gotta commend him. Like, his Naga play was really, really good, and he got way more than I thought he would this game. Mainly because they're like, hey, let's just push. We don't have to worry about this Naga because we can end. So Mantis does get a lot, but it's not enough. The 4 heroes they draft up alongside the Naga, just, they can't get it done. I was even surprised how many towers xGame were able to bring down along with the Jakiro. I question working into the Aghanims after a mech a little bit on that hero. We talked about the Veil maybe being a better choice, but all in all, Lycan was left in the pool and it was picked up last here along with the pushing Wraith King and Witch Doctor. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
You pick up a lineup that doesn't want to be knocked down quickly, that doesn't want to have to deal with too much early aggression and presence, and then they get the Viper and the Lycan as their core heroes, even the Batrider. Obviously not the easiest hero to ban against every team, but at the same time, these are high presence heroes in the early stages of the game, and they certainly showed it here. 14-0-6 on Hakon's Viper.
Yeah, so this was